Janaba Giribaradhari Yasaranandana Pajachanaranjana Jamunati Panachari Jayabadha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 29, verses 33 to 36. Karvantitai ratinku shalaha swatman nitya priya patisutati virati taikim Anapasita Paramesharama Smachindya Asam Titangaichira Ravinanetram. Translation. Expert transcendentalists always direct their affection toward you because they recognize you as their true self and eternal beloved. What use do we have for these husbands, children, and relatives of ours who simply give us trouble? Therefore, O Supreme Controller, grant us your mercy. O lighter side one, please do not cut down our long cherished hope to have your association. 34. Chitam sukhena pavata paritam keheshu yane visatata karava pikreha kartye pada padana chaladastava paramola dhyama tatamvajama to karavama kimva. Until today, our minds are absorbed in household affairs, but you easily stole both our minds and our hands away from our housework. Now our feet won't move one step from your lotus feet. How can we go back to Braj? What would we do there? Report. Shri Krishna had blown into his flute, and the intoxicating music that had come out of its holes had stolen the minds of the young Gopi girls. Now they had come to see Krishna to demand back their stolen property, but they could regain their minds only if Shri Krishna accepted them and engaged with them in conjugal affairs. Shri Krishna might have replied, but my dear Gopis, just go home for now. Let me consider the situation for a day or two, and then I will give you back your minds. In reply to this possible argument, the Gopis state, our feet refuse to move even one step, so please give us back our minds and accept us, and then we will go. 35. Sinchangana staradharam mitapurakena kasavaloka kalagita jahit shayagnim no chevayam viraha jag yupayukta deha yanena yamapadayo paravin sakete. O Krishna, please, pour the nectar of your lips upon the fire within our hearts, a fire you ignited with your smiling glances and the sweet song of your flute. If you do not, we will consign our bodies to the fire of separation from you, O friend, and thus, like yogis, attain to the abode of your lotus feet by meditation. 36. Yahyam bhajakshata vapara talam ramaya datta kshanang chiraranya janapriyasya aspaksmatat parvitinanya samakshamanya datongstaya piramita batapaya yaman. On lotus side one, the goddess of fortune considers it a festive occasion whenever she touches the soles of your lotus feet. They are very dear to the residents of the forest, and therefore we will also touch those lotus feet. From that time on, we will be unable even to stand in the presence of any other man, for we will have been fully satisfied by you. Mukam karati vachalam gangam langate girim yakipantamam bande si gurun dinatarinam Om Gyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshumiritam Yena Tasama Sri Gurave Namaha. So if you were to look on the sole of Radharani's lotus feet, you would find a mark of a fish. This mark means that she cannot live a moment without Krishna's association. Like a fish out of water, the gopis are now expressing their feelings. What Chaitanya also said, Yugaitam nimeshena chakshusha pravishaitam. Without you, a moment feels like a millennium, and the universe is all void without you. So we're hearing about the Ras Leela, it's the smiling face of Krishna. So we go through the first 9 cantos, and then we're ready to hear Canto 10, the smiling face. So one time I was giving a class on Radhashtami in the Vrindavan Gurukul, and one of the little boys asked the question, did Radharani go to Gurukul? And I said, no, she learned in a different way. So how she learned is described in Bhagavatam, 2nd canto, 4th chapter, verse 24, that the nectar from the mouth of Krishna is transferred to his different consorts. And this is, and that's how they learned the fine arts of music, dance, dressing, decorations, and all such things relished by the Lord. So here they're begging for the nectar from his lips. And when they get that nectar, that's how they learn everything. Dancing, dress, that's what it says in Bhagavatam purport. And so Vyasadeva, he gives us the knowledge of the Vedic literatures, and we can, Prabhupada says, one should try to understand the Vedic scriptures or the nectar transferred by the Lord to his consorts in the conjugal humor from the lotus-like mouth of Vyasadeva or Shukadeva. So we're doing the right thing. We're hearing from Shukadeva, Vyasadeva, who wrote Srimad Bhagavatam. And then by gradual development, we'll also be able to do these things. So Srila Prabhupada concludes that the pure devotees of the Lord can equally relish the nectar in the form of the profound philosophical discourses and in the form of kissing by the Lord in rasa dance, as there is no mundane distinction between the two. So listen carefully. This is what is happening here. We're hearing profound philosophical discourses, which are the same as hearing the Ras Leela. So in the material platform, dances take place on the basis of sense gratification. But when Krishna blew his flute, the gopis came, it was out of material lust. Material lust is sense gratification. They came out of love. So love is also sense gratification, but it is spiritual sense gratification. Krishna was only 8 years old when he had this rasa dance. But at that time, many of the gopis were married because they used to marry at a young age. And so most of them were married, but they still wanted Krishna for their husband. So this is part of Kiya Ras. Actually, Krishna is the husband of everyone because he's the supreme enjoyer. And so they wanted Krishna as their husband. So if we hear this Ras Leela, what will be the result described in the 33rd chapter of this canto? That if anyone who faithfully hears or describes the Lord's playful affairs with the young gopis of Vrindavan will attain the Lord's pure devotional service. He will quickly become sober, conquer lust, disease of the heart. So this is what we hope to happen by hearing these chapters of Rasa Leela. So what is the qualification to hear so that lust will be destroyed? We have to hear in a service mood. And then your lust will be destroyed. If we hear an enjoying mood, our lust will increase. So we have to be careful how we hear. One time, a man and his wife asked Srila Prabhupada, please speak Ras Leela to us. And Srila Prabhupada said, no, I cannot speak Ras Leela to you. And they kept insisting, no, speak. Prabhupada said to them, you may be qualified to hear, but I am not qualified to speak. And so that was Srila Prabhupada. He was very, he never really spoke Ras Leela, but he did talk about it in one lecture in Los Angeles. He said this Krishna conscious movement is for approaching Radha Krishna to be associated with the Supreme Lord in his sublime pleasure dance. That is the aim of Krishna consciousness. So, yeah, it's the goal, but we can't jump to it prematurely. We have to become qualified. We have to proceed in the right way. So Krishna blew his flute. When he blew it, the gopis ran. And when Prabhupada called us, we left everything and ran to him also. So it's very similar. We never thought, I didn't know it was Krishna. But when Prabhupada called, we answered the call. We heard the flute of Krishna through the mouth of Srila Prabhupada. And so a messenger from Krishna, this is Nectar of Devotion, came to Radharani while she was sleeping, and she woke up. So when Krishna blew his flute, all the gopis got up from their sleep. And there's a analogy. The lotus flower is surrounded by white swans. Sometimes it is surrounded by black wasps collecting its honey. When there's a thundering in the sky, the swans go away and the black wasps stay to enjoy. The gopi sleeping condition is compared to white swans. The sound of Krishna's flute is compared to a black wasp. When Krishna's flute sounded, the white swans were immediately vanquished, and the black wasp sound of the flute began to enjoy the lotus flower of the gopis' beauty. Now, actually, if you know about Vrindavan, where Radharani was living, she was living in Yavat. So to go to Vrindavan is about 40 miles. But this happened in a twinkling of an eye. How did this happen? Because Vraja helped Radha cross the vast distance to the Jamuna shores as swiftly as she traversed the lotus of her heart. So this is, and also it talks about how Vraja expands and Vraja also becomes smaller. So this happened. In an instant, she went to Krishna, although it was a distance of 40 miles. So yes, these things are happening. These are spiritual things. So I have a little poem I wrote. Hearing Krishna's flute, we must become more qualified so we can respond to Krishna's flute song. Every message in our life is Krishna's flute song. How do we respond? How do we appreciate? How do we hear it? How do we learn the lesson? So the flute song is the holy name of Krishna. So when we hear it, it's like Krishna is actually calling us with his flute. And so the gopis, they were just like great sages in yoga trance, and they did mention that we're going, we're going to be like yogis, and they're like rivers merging into the ocean, not aware of material names and forms, their own bodies, this world, their future lives. They just were thinking of Krishna. He said this in 11th canto, 12th chapter. They have renounced for my sake everything related to their bodies, ordinary happiness in this life, religious duties, for happiness in the next life. I am their dear, most beloved, and their very self. So now again in the 10th canto, 20th chapter, description of autumn. It's described how when the frogs were quiet, when they heard the rumbling, the thunder, then they started croaking. So that's the same way as students start speaking when called by their teacher. So Srila Prabhupada explains, by the order of the spiritual master, the students rise up and start chanting and studying the Vedas. When there's a great acharya, by his calling only, everyone takes to study of the Vedas. So that's what happened to us, that Prabhupada is the great acharya who called us, and we did hear the call, and we dropped everything and went to follow him. So, yes, Srila Prabhupada described in Vrindavan days, Krishna was attracting them. My dear boys, give up all that nonsense, come to me. Being intelligent boys, they came. And so here Krishna, in his instructions, he's giving equivocal instructions. First, he's saying, go home, serve your husbands, calves, children. But then there's an inner meaning. Stay here and enjoy with me. Or else maybe he's just joking. Maybe he doesn't mean one or the other. Could be three different things. So there were different categories of gopis. There were the married ones like Radharani. There were unmarried ones like Dhanya, who did Katyayani Vrat. And there were the Munichari gopis, who are the sages of Dandakaranya. And there's so many others, which we'll talk about later. The Shruticharis, the personified Vedas, who wanted to be gopis. So Krishna is speaking indirectly. And in Goloka, there is indirect speech, parokshavad. And the Vedas also, and mantras also deal in esoteric terms. Krishna likes that. When Krishna and the gopis speak, it's indirectly. So although he's saying, go home, he means the opposite. Stay here and enjoy with me. Oh, Krishna's the husband of everyone. And the gopis wanted Krishna to be their husband, but how could he marry so many gopis? Well, actually, that's who he is. He's in everyone's heart, and he's the husband of everyone. So one time a man came with his wife to see Srila Prabhupada. And how this man asked Prabhupada, isn't Krishna immoral, dancing with others' wives? So Prabhupada said to the man, you are immoral because your wife belongs to Krishna and you are enjoying her. That was Prabhupada's answer to this man. That Krishna is immoral. No, you are immoral. Prabhupada was a bit heavy on that point. Yeah, so Krishna is inviting us to join him, enjoy with him in the spiritual world. So by hearing Bhagavatam, doing devotional service, we can be qualified to join him. So in Krishna book on this particular section, Srila Prabhupada quotes Rupa Goswami, if you want to enjoy the company of material society, friendship, and love, don't go to see the smiling boy Govinda standing on the bank of Jamuna playing his flute, or else you will be captured. So yes, Krishna is calling us here. It's not only for the gopis, the flute is for us too. And it's the holy name. The holy name is the sound of Krishna's flute. So Lord Brahma was asking, this is from Garga Samhita, how did the personified Vedas become gopis? And so the Lord answered, in Shweta Dweep, they were offering prayers to the Lord with very eloquent words. The Lord became pleased. He said, choose a benediction. So they said, okay, we want to see your form, your transcendental form, full of bliss. So then he showed his Goloka Vrindavan, his beautiful form, playing the flute, and the Govardhan hill with beautiful caves and streams made of jewels and minerals, Jamuna River, pure water filled with lotuses and swans. And they saw the Lord surrounded by the gopis. So then the Lord said, what else can I do for you? There's nothing better than seeing my abode. And then the personified Veda says, we want to be gopis in Goloka, just like these gopis. So he said, okay, after a day of Brahma, which is a few trillion years, he said, when the next Brahma is born to create, in the time of Saraswata Kalpa, his day arrives, you will appear as gopis in Braj. So this was the desire of the personified Vedas. If you read in 10th Canto, chapter 87, you will hear them express this desire in verse 23 of that canto. Now, there are other gopis who joined Krishna from previous ages. There were some when the Lord appeared in Treta Yuga as Lord Ram. He came to marry Sita, Janaka's daughter, and all the married women of Mithila who saw him were overcome with desire, and they approached the Lord to please become our husband. He said, no, don't be unhappy. At the end of Dwapara Yuga, I'll fulfill your desire. With great faith and devotion, go on pilgrimage, give charity, perform austerities, and follow the rules of cleanliness, and you will appear as gopis in Braj. Now, after giving them this benediction, he defeated Parshuram and went to the country of Koshalas. So all the ladies there also wanted to marry him, and he said, okay, you'll become gopis also. Then all the ladies of Ayodhya, where he was king, they all wanted to marry him too. So they were performing austerities, and then a voice from the sky said, yes, you will become gopis. We heard about the Municharis. They were sages living in the Dandaka forest and worshippers of Lord Gopal. When Ram came, they saw him as Gopal. Oh, this is Gopal. And they prayed and they said, as Sita is, let us become. So he said, yes. Again, you at the end of Dwapara Yuga, you'll become like Sita. Now, when Ram was in the forest, the Aborigine girls also wanted to marry him. And so they were taking the dust of his lotus feet and they were said, we're going to give up our lives now. But Ram said, no, don't do that. In the Dwapara Yuga, you can become gopis also. Now, when after Lord Ram banished Sita to the forest, he was doing sacrifices for thousands of years, and every time he did a new sacrifice, he would have a golden Sita deity sitting next to him, because you can't do without your wife. Now, after some time, he had like hundreds or thousands of these deities. One day they all came to life and said, we're your wife, we're Sita. And he said, well, I have a vow only to accept Sita Devi. And he said, but yes, at the end of Dwapara Yuga, you will become gopis also. So yes, this is happening. Where do all these gopis come from? From all the places in this universe and all the times. It's not stopped by time. There's even the women in Vaikuntha wanted to join the Ras Leela. So women of Rama Vaikuntha, women of Shvetadvip, the women of Urdhva Vaikuntha, and the women who were there when the churning of the ocean of milk, Ajita incarnated, and daughters of Runa, they all will appear as gopis. This is predicted. The demigoddesses, when they saw Yagya, they also got a benediction, performed austerities in the Himalayas, and they appeared as gopis. Now, here's a very interesting group of gopis. Dhanvantari, when he disappeared from the earth, all the medicinal herbs became unhappy and they became ineffective. So to regain their potency, they transformed themselves into beautiful women, performed austerities, and after 4 yugas, Lord Hari became pleased. And when they saw the Lord in the forest, they became enchanted and they said, please become our husband. So they said, yes. In Vrindavan, you will appear as flowering vines and transform into women when the rasa dance comes. I promise you this. So these are the herbs of Dhanvantari. Yes, yes. And Jalandhara, when the Lord incarnated as the husband of Vrinda Devi, Tulsi Devi, they all wanted to marry him also, and he said yes. And Ras Leela, you'll be gopis. Varuna's daughters saw Lord Hari in the incarnation of the fish, Matsya, and they wanted to marry him. And so by Matsya's benediction, they also became gopis. So then when Prithu was king, all of those women wanted to marry him too. So they also became gopis. And then when Narayana Rishi, he was attacked by Cupid, and the demigod Apsaras came and they tried to bewilder him, and he produced so many beautiful Apsaras from his own body, and they wanted to marry him now too. So, and when he went to see Bali Maharaj and Sutala, all the ladies there also wanted to marry him too. So it's like the whole universe and the spiritual sky and the different yugas. When the Lord incarnated, all these ladies became attracted. So, yeah, I would like to conclude with another poem. It's called The Cosmic Dance. Pierced by lust, abandoned our lover to dream of love with earth and water, fire and sky, which ends in tears for ashes, stool, and worms. Wake up to love. The soul rejoices to dance with Krishna, the dance of love. Choose wisely now, leave lust behind, and live forever in love divine. So we can hear be prepared to hear Ras Leela. It's happening now for up through chapter 33. There's 5 chapters from 29 to 33. So we have to be prepared by having the mentality of humbly listening in a service attitude. So I'll stop here. If there's any questions or comments, you can ask at this time.
Andrea, followed by William and family.
Hare Krishna, dear Narayani. Prabhu, thank you so much for class today. I really appreciated how you explained the background of so many different gopis. I actually hadn't heard a lot of those before. We actually had Bhakti Devi Dasi give a class, and she was telling us about like the gopis as well, but without all these other details that you mentioned. So thank you. And I was just wondering where we could get copies of the poems that you read in class today, just so that we could read them. Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, I could send them to Interfaith. I have the connection on email, but also I wrote a book called Garden of Devotion, which is available on Amazon. So you can get it there. It's a whole book and it's different poems I wrote when I was doing a japa reform, and I went through a lot of transformations. And so I wrote down everything I was going through. And so these were some of the poems that I wrote. Yes. Yeah, Amazon, Garden of Devotion, the name of the book. And I can send the 2 poems that I wrote, that I read today, I can send them by email to Prabhuji. I have his email. Alex Dasosmi is the email I have.
Yeah, that's me. See, when a Vaishnava or a Vaishnavi is going through something, what do? They write poetry.
Yes, yes. That's right. That was in 1994 I went through that.
Cool. Okay, William Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you so much for class today. I have a question, and can we pray to Radha sometimes? Can we ask Radha for help? I mean, I pray to Krishna. But my question is, can we also pray to Radha? Can we ask Radha for help? Like, I'm saying this because the doctors, they want to, do this. I have a medical health condition, so the pharmacology, the pharmaceutical industry, they're just like trying to push these medications, and I'm like, you know what? Sometimes I come home, I'm like dead tired, and I'm like, I heard a devotee say, you know what, just pray to Radha sometimes. And I say, yeah, but I'm always chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. She said, well, just pray to Radha. I'm like, oh, okay, and I tried it, but I'm just, so it's just a question. Hare Krishna.
Yes, well, as you said, when we chant, we are praying to Radha. Hare is half the mantra. And Srila Prabhupada, in his first lecture on the Hare Krishna mantra, he said that there's 3 words, Hare Krishna and Rama, and 2 are Krishna, and Radha is our mother. She is our mother. So when we chant Hare Krishna, we're praying to Mother Radha, and she's helping us. She's taking us, she's delivering our message to Krishna, and Krishna is saving us. So yes, we can pray to Radha, and of course, the best prayer is Hare Krishna mantra. You can emphasize the Hare part, but what's happening, Prabhupada explained that we are calling to our mother, and she's helping us to get the mercy of Krishna. So yes, and Prabhupada often said we should chant Hare Krishna like a child crying for its mother. So she is our mother, and it's natural. to pray to her. One time I was in Nepal and I got the question, isn't Durga our mother? And I said, yes, she's the mother of our body, but Radha is the mother of our soul. So we can, yes, it's fine. It's fine. It's good if you have a guru to ask permission also. Or you can ask permission from Srila Prabhupada. That's also nice. It's good because we generally don't approach directly, except when we chant Hare Krishna. We do approach Radha and Krishna directly there when we chant. So, okay. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Any other questions?
Krishna.
Hey, Tina.
Hi, Krishna. Hare
Hi,
Krishna,
Krishna.
Narayani, Mataji. Thank you so much for this class. You know, I love your essence, something about your spirit. I'm very attracted, and something about you remind me of my aspiring Guru Maharaj Ramapad Swami in some way. I'm not sure what it is, but a part of your poem that you said has just been dancing in my head. You said something like, you know, every experience is like a way for us to get, like, Krishna is, wait, you said every experience is a way for us to get closer to Krishna. You know, it's like Krishna is offering us a chance to get closer to him with every experience. And that's just been like dancing in my head ever since you said it. And I was hoping maybe you can expound on it a little bit if you can, but if you can't, that's okay, because I'm going to get your book. Harbo.
Okay. Well, yeah, it's in a Kindle format, actually. I only the books, I only personally have them in Vrindavan in the book form. I mean, I could send like about 10 of them to the Bhakti Center. If, you know, you don't have to pay for them. I can just send them. And then anybody can just take them. Yeah, I think there's about 20 in a package. I can send them. Or if you have Kindle, then it's on Amazon. They don't have the books, actually. But yeah. Okay, so you want to know about every experience. So when you go through your day, you should offer whatever you do to Krishna. Just like when you wake up in the morning, offer the day to Krishna. Okay, this day I would like to serve you. Thank you for the opportunity. Be grateful. And be grateful when you're brushing your teeth. Okay, I'm taking care of your body. This is your body. I'm brushing my teeth for you. I'm cooking for you. I'm walking for you. So every experience you have, and then whatever happens, it's good to appreciate it, good and bad. That yes, yeah, just like recently I fell down twice. I had 2 falls. Now I'm pretty old. I'm 75. Nothing's broken, you know. It's just and one fall was pretty, they're practically on my face. But Krishna protected me. Nothing serious. And so I was grateful for that, even though it seemed like it wasn't a good experience. So when you have difficult times, then be grateful that okay, it could have been a lot worse, but you did save me. And then when good things happen, then also be grateful. Now I can. And Prabhupada says that in Gita Purport 256 that the devotee he sees everything as Krishna's mercy, what happens in the day during your experience. And and then so that's the first step. Like you have to appreciate and be grateful to Krishna before your experiences. And offer whatever you do to Krishna during the day. And at night, offer your sleep, whatever. Pray you can dream of him.
Adi has his hand up.
Okay.
Hare Krishna Mataji, can you hear me okay? Hello?
Hello, Hare Krishna.
Can you hear?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. Wonderful class. Thank you so much. And you mentioned this very clearly and a few times, but it's a very important reflection, so we'll repeat it, that we attend the class as an offering to Krishna. It's for Krishna's pleasure, that this is a sacrifice for Vishnu. We're giving him our attention. And of course we benefit, but the consciousness is not that I'm here for entertainment or even my own upliftment, but we hope that Krishna will be pleased by our participating and glorifying him together. Krishna is so wonderful that he gives us that opportunity to please him. And all these different gopis that were attracted to be the wives of Krishna, the girlfriends of Krishna, the servants of Krishna. Again, of course you explained it. They wanted to do that to please the Lord. Definitely it was their desire, but their enjoyment was to have the opportunity to really please Krishna. And that's our feminine nature. We're meant to give pleasure. Krishna is the Purusha, he's the male, he's the enjoyer, and we actually feel the most fulfilled when we're giving ourselves for the pleasure of the Lord. So whatever, like you said, whatever you're doing that as an offering to Krishna. Even attending class or dancing in the rasa dance, we hope Krishna is pleased by that. And indirectly, our satisfaction and our pleasure is there, but that's not our focus. That's not our motivation. Yeah, you explained it. We're just reflecting and making it emphatic. We hope we can please Krishna. How wonderful is Krishna?
Yes. Yeah, I just see this message. Check your mood. Yeah, in the second verse of Bhagavatam, it's described, you must listen attentively and submissively. And if you hear Bhagavatam in this way, you can capture Krishna in your heart. So, yeah, and again, Shushu Shodadanasya in the second chapter, it describes Shraddha to Prema, and the first, beginning with Shraddha, you hear with faith and you hear with, you also can be acquisitive, Shushu, and sincere. These are the qualifications to hear Srimad Bhagavatam and capture Krishna, because he is Bhagavatam. He's in the pages of Bhagavatam, and you can capture him by hearing properly, submissively.
How amazing it is that we might feel small and insignificant and fallen, but still there's a possibility of us doing something that would please the Supreme Lord. How amazing. Krishna is so amazing that he's giving us access like that. Madan Gopal Prabhu gave a class recently, and he said, even if casually, we say, Lord, I'm yours. Whatever I've got, I offer it to you, I'm yours. He said, then Krishna will hear that and will arrange everything it takes to get from wherever we are to the perfectional stage. But all we have to do is say, Krishna, I'm available for you, I'm here for you. I give myself to you. Isn't that cool? Yeah.
He said that, I will give you courage and I will protect you if you say I'm yours. And Prabhupada also expressed that in his lectures on Prahlad Maharaj's prayers, that we can pray, my dear Lord, you are everything for me, and I am yours. So that is the devotee's ambition, to belong to Krishna, and Krishna belongs to him also. Belongs to Krishna.
And anybody can do that. Anybody can do that. How wonderful.
Okay. Thank you so much. Wonderful exchange. Okay, do we have any further reflections?
There's a
questions?
question in the chat from
In the
Kartik.
chat. Okay, Kartik. All right. Thank you for this wonderful class. What do the 108 chanting beads represent? I heard somewhere that they represent 108 gopis, but your class seems to indicate that there are a lot more than 108 gopis.
There are 108 main gopis, 108 main ones. I have also heard there are 3 billion gopis, 3 billion. So yeah, and still increasing, of course, because more and more are joining from so many universes. There are gopis joining. Yeah, I remember when I was in Bhakti, and one of the ladies was telling me the story of Krishna's 16,108 queens. He has so many queens, and I said, only? Because I was thinking one more maybe. And it was like, anyway, yeah, we do have the hope to join Krishna in one of his relationships, mother, friend, gopi, in the spiritual world, servant also.
Thank you. Bhima Prabhu, is your pillow offered to Krishna? You're offering everything you have to Krishna? I like how Narayani said that you're supposed to offer your sleep to Krishna. Even when you sleep, offer that to Krishna. So everybody should offer their pillow to Krishna tonight.
Yeah, it was interesting. Vishujan Maharaj, when he was with us, he had a practice that before he would do anything, he would say, okay, what did Prabhupada say about this? Like before eating. Okay, Prabhupada said half with food, quarter with water, and quarter with air. And then he would eat. Then before sleeping, okay, 6 hours. He said in a Gita purport, okay, 6 hours sleep. So whatever, before he would do anything, he would try to think what was Prabhupada's instruction about this particular thing. And then he would do it. So that's another way to go through your day.
Yeah.
Also.
I read something wonderful about Srila Prabhupada. I think it's from Shruta Kirti Prabhu. He said that Prabhupada would somebody put flowers in Prabhupada's bed on his pillow, and he would go to bed, and then he woke up and the flowers weren't messed up or wrinkled, touched. They were just the same way they left it.
They were fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Shruta Kirti Prabhu was under the bed.
Yeah.
Waiting for Prabhupada to call him.
With a mosquito, the Prabhupada's mosquito net was down covering him too.
Yeah.
To the floor.
Did Prabhupada kill mosquitoes? I think he did. He did
Yeah,
order Shruta
There's
Kirti.
one story. There was one story. He says if they're attacking you, you can kill them.
So only defensively kill a mosquito.
Well, one time he couldn't translate, so he called Shudakirti underneath his net and told him to kill the mosquitoes. And he was whacking them. Even on Prabhupada, he was killing the mosquito. Yeah, there's one story of Shudakirti doing that.
Bhima Prabhu, I see two Bhima Prabhus, two of them. One is disheveled and the other one is fancy and brutal. Where are you, Bhima?
Haribo. Wonderful class. I really answering the calling out. I'm still processing everything that was said. It offers us a great solace to at least understand, even though we might not have the realization that. All right, Haribo, Hare Krishna.
Okay, camera's on, please, if you can. Adi, turn on the camera. There's no camera.
I don't see.
Well, Krishna will see us, I guess.
Gacchami Govinda Purusha Tamaham Govinda Purusha Tamaham Ayani Yasya Sakalen Priyavriti Manti Kasyanti Pan Kayanti Tiram Jaganti Handada Chimaya Sadhu Pala Vigrahasya Govinda Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govinda Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govinda Adipurusham
Jai, Shishwara Mulidara, Shiva Chandra Ki Jai.
Yeah. Listen, we're gonna have an afterglow. Bhima was speaking.
Dimapur. Yeah, he was saying that we may not be fully qualified to experience those topics, Rasa Lila, things like that. But we should know them. That's the standard, that's the aspiration. And we should sincerely and with a humble heart approach those subjects. We should hear about them from humble devotees, realized souls like Narayani Devi Dasi. What was that, Beam?
We may be in the middle of the ocean, might have been swept out in a riptide over our heads, flailing away. But if we see the beach, we know which direction to swim. So that's where I'm at. I'm swimming towards the beach of the promise.
You know who's on the beach? You know who's on the beach? Amrita Kishori Devi, taking her japa walk on the beach.
Yes.
And she'll rescue us.
She'll throw me a lifesaver. Yeah. A life ring.
Life ring. Okay. All right. Family blessings. William Prabhu. Yeah, I was thinking about your Christmas tree. Shastra says the standard of renunciation is that one is supposed to sleep under a different tree every night. So William Prabhu sleeps under the same tree, under the same Christmas tree every night. We get in there, William Prabhu. All right. Okay, we're going to end with that. Wishing you a very wonderful and fulfilling Saturday. Give it to Krishna. Think of Krishna. Come back tomorrow. Hare Krishna.